right, well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, host of this channel, helping you always to live better, love better, and be better. I'm joined by, again, my amazing wife. Listen,
I'm not feeling well, guys. I'm doing the best I can.
It's all right. It's all right. So, again, this channel, we are doing the recap, reaction, and review of Married at First Sight, Atlanta, season 12, I think it is.
Yeah.
All right. So, if this is content that is enjoyable to you, you like it, and you gain value from this, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and request notifications. That way you are always up to date with everything that we do here. All right?
Right.
All right. So let's talk about the episode, right? Let's go with Ryan and Clara. She's, they're having a good conversation as far as date a lot.
Right.
Basically, she's like, I fall easily in love is what she doesn't say that specifically, but she's been in love before, right?
Right. Well, she says she's been in love a lot. He indicates that he hasn't been in love.
Right.
Or that it's so important to say it to someone who should be very special. He makes an indication in his family that they just don't throw that word around.
Right.
But he's been in long-term relationships for multiple years and never said I love you.
Yeah.
Well, is he saying that he just never said the words, but he was in love? It's just like, so I don't know. I mean, this is how he's expressing it to us on camera.
Right.
So
I mean, the takeaway, you can take it kind of both ways. One, that he doesn't just throw the I love you word around.
Right.
So therefore, when he does finally say it to her, it's unique, it's special, it means something. Right. But then the question that she probably has in the back of her mind is, okay, if he's never been in love, will he recognize love when he finds it? Especially if he's been in some long-term relationships, if they've been, if he's been in other relationships that have been more than just casual dating.
Right.
What was it that you weren't in love with there that maybe now, and how long will it take, I think is the other thing.
Well, and I guess that's a good question that she needs to ask him. I mean, for me, I'm a competitor, so I was like, okay, you're going to say I love you to me. So it depends. You can look at it being a negative, but I feel like it could be a very good positive thing that they could build a relationship that he can finally say, because we are married. So at some point, since we are at least in a committed marriage, you're almost automatically saying at some point you are going to say I love you, because it's not like you're dating, right?
Right.
You did things backwards. You normally marry the person you love.
Right.
So you have to expect that at some point you're going to say it.
Right.
Now, if you're 10 years in marriage and you never say I love you,
that's a problem.
I feel like you should have been in counseling.
That's a problem, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And then, later on they have a conversation, and he makes the statement that she needs to learn how to watch what comes out of her mouth.
But he wants her to express herself.
Right. So I think it's maybe a filter of how to say what she needs to say when it's being said.
I think she needed a follow-up question, because when he said it, I was like, I don't know what that means, because you're saying two different things.
Right.
So you want me to express myself, but what exactly are you wanting me to watch what I say?
Right.
And so obviously she's taking it like, oh, now you're trying to control me. But again, when you marry someone, they see stuff that you normally don't see. Even though she recognizes that she says what comes to her mind, she may not be recognizing how that affects people at what level.
Right.
So I think he could have communicated that a lot better.
Exactly.
So he's not trying to say, I'm not trying to control you, but this is how it affects me personally. It was just too very vague.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of group time this episode, right?
Yeah, and I think that's been an issue.
Yeah.
Having so much group time when there's been such a lot of dynamics going on within relationships.
Yeah. So, I mean, early in the episode, we see basically a guy hangout and the ladies hangout.
And they've
right?
done that in the past.
And they've done it, right.
Yeah.
In this one, we see, of course, everybody's kind of going around on the ladies' side.
Yeah.
How are things going? They're checking in.
Right.
Paige is still super silent.
Right. And the girls recognize that because when they first met her and before everyone got married, they felt they saw a different side of Paige. Mm-hmm. Now that she's married, she seems just so much subdued and everything. So, and they're trying to talk to her to kind of maybe figure out what she's thinking.
Right.
But she even is trying to process what she's thinking. Right. And that may have caused the issue, later on in the episode.
Yeah, we see some things happen later on. But, over on the fella side, though, you got Chris. Is it not Chris? I'm sorry.
No,
you
Ryan.
got Eric.
Oh, yeah, Eric.
Eric, who is lit.
Eric, I mean, he's like, I'm in Vegas. I don't have to go to work.
Bruh is L-I-T
so
lit.
We seen their bar, and their bar was open.
Listen, they had the Fireball, they had the Tito's Vodka, they had the Miller Lite, they had it all.
And everything was open.
They had the white, the brown, and whatever else color you want to find, right?
I never seen so much, well, I have, but I've never seen that much open for two people alone in my life.
Right.
So he come into their conversation. He's like, he drunk. And they're kind of like, man, you look a little sloshed.
Like, to the point he's falling asleep, it looks like.
Yes. And he has, okay, you look at all the chairs, and then there's this awkward little small table in front of him. Yeah. Like, producers like, let's prop you up.
Right.
So that you can finish this episode.
And now, I'm not, Vegas saying. Is legal.
It's legal in Vegas.
Well, I mean, marijuana is legal. Weed is legal in marijuana.
Oh, you think he have a smoking too?
I don't know, because I think he was like, "Look, I only live once. I'm very traditional." From? Well, just because he's falling asleep. It's not like he's sloppy drunk. He's like falling asleep.
Some people drink and they get sleepy.
They do. So I'm just saying.
I mean, he's partying with his new wife.
Both options there. I'm just saying. We see him lit, and so he starts to say some stuff to Chris, telling him to man up, telling him you got to man up.
And then Chris is trying to like talk to him.
He's like, I'm at least.
He's like, I'm trying to be responsible,
right? And
then he's like, okay, yeah. But then you got man up, and then he goes back in, and he's like, why? He said, when you keep using this term about manning up. But then he's not allowing Chris to finish.
Right.
So again, there's this disconnect.
Right. Which again creates another big blow up.
It
right.
Creates
we'll
a
get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
And then Jacob and Haley.
Yeah.
As a couple.
Yeah.
They have they've consummated things.
Right.
Still win my awkward couple of the show.
Yeah.
Award.
Well, yeah. But he's communicating very well. I understand what he's saying. What he's trying to convey to Haley, what he needs from her. And the question is, can she deliver?
Right.
Because she sounds really in her head. Mm-hmm. And I thought his name was Jake. I got Jake.
Yeah, Jacob.
Okay.
Did I say it wrong? Okay.
Yeah. Jake, he's like, I don't know what to give you. I don't know how to respond. And so now he seems a little upset.
Right.
Because he's asking her, and then the answers that she's providing, he's like, how am I supposed to work through that or help that?
Because he's trying to figure out boundaries. He's trying to figure out, is this too much too soon? Is this not enough? He's trying to do that.
Give me something, and you just close off.
She's closed off. So that's something that they're going to have to work through. Right. And then there is a portion at the end of the episode. Right,
during the trailer where it seems like he's just really upset.
Well, even before that, when there was a scene, the portion where where she says that she's going out for ladies' night. Yes. And she goes downstairs, and according to him, he goes down just trying to grab some food or whatever, and sees his wife Haley with the other wives and their spouses. So it's like, of the 5 couples, 10 people total, 9 are downstairs. He's up in his room. So he's like, now, did you not want me there? Right. You lied to me.
And remember, he was the awkward kid.
Right.
So imagine feeling like you're in a situation like you're in school again, that you're leaving me out of things.
Right.
And so now I'm a grown behind man. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to leave me out again, so that could put him back into that space.
Yes.
So And I don't know because we don't hear any conversation about why she did what she did or what happened.
Right. So hopefully we'll see something or hear something in the next episode, right? And then Vincent, Briana, who they're still my couple for.
I told you. It's starting to come out.
They got a few issues.
Well, they all are going to have issues, but they were in a romancing in their.
They were in the starry-eyed.
Yeah.
We're on our honeymoon. Mm-hmm. He makes a statement that she's bossy. Mm-hmm. She doesn't like them. She tells him that you ticked me off the other day. You annoyed me. So we can chalk it up at this stage as in. Part of it is that they're learning how to communicate with each other, right?
And my understanding after the cameras left, they had a really good conversation about how he felt about the way she was talking and trying to, really say, hey, I don't like the way you were communicating with me, and this is how I prefer you to communicate. And so she was like, I don't want to be bossy. I don't want to come off that way.
Right.
So again, it's going to take time and patience for both of them.
Absolutely.
He's going to have to say how he feels and be very honest, even if that might hurt her feelings. She says she's want honesty, but when you receive it, it's hard to receive. So, and then for you to take it and to constantly apply it, it's just something you have to work through.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I think for them, it is, I'm still good with them.
I don't feel like they have any deal breakers, but I'm saying it's going to escalate quicker for them because they haven't really, I feel like they've been on cloud nine.
Yeah. And so I think that they will still make it through. I think they'll still survive. I think for them, the key thing of learning how to communicate is the thing that's going to be key for them, right? All right. And then everybody's favorite couple.
Who's that?
Chris and Paige.
Yeah.
So let me just say this. We had a conversation as we were watching.
Oh, yeah. We never even finished that conversation.
Tarsha is almost done watching the show.
I'm like, only reason.
if we weren't doing this, she'd probably get checked out.
I would have like, nope.
Because she is like yelling. Well, not yelling, but she's getting upset because of this whole thing, right?
Well, and this is what you have to understand about women, okay? They met as a group. They're supposed to be going through this experience together.
Right.
So they want to come to her defense. All women wants to come to a woman's defense if they're not seeing that woman seem to be in her more natural state. So they have this episode where they're all at ATV and it's who? So we have Clara. I want to call her something. Claire, and then the other young lady, and Virginia. Okay. So they're trying to talk to him about what's going on.
Right.
Like, she doesn't seem like herself and everything. And are you really in this? Because if it was us, blah, 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 and everything. And then he was like, well, yeah, I am trying. I am making an effort. But he goes, but it's fake. Y'all fake. Y'all really ain't into this. Well, he doesn't know about how they're talking, to Paige or trying to interact with Paige. So they get into this. They're in this back and forth, and Chris is upset.
Right.
And that's the only thing I was trying to say is that I believe they had a good intent.
Everyone has great intentions. Their execution, though, was horrible.
Oh, I'm not saying their execution is right, but you can't say I wouldn't make out that you're just putting both of them in that box unless there's footage we don't know about. If I just met you and then I see you totally change and then I see the story behind it, I am gonna say, hey, my girl ain't the same,
But here's the problem, and from the male perspective, here's the problem. Is that, yes, they have their relationship. The five young ladies have their situation. Now, hear me. I am not a fan of Chris. I'm not sticking up for him. But I will point out that I think that there are some things that were done here in this episode that really I'm on his side for some of this stuff. Okay? Because, yes, I get the fact that Paige she's trying to work through it. She's trying to figure out. But she's also in this relationship with Chris, right? So the young ladies who really, just be honest, have just met Paige don't really have the leg to stand on, in my opinion, to come and be like, you mess with my girl, when yes, y'all just met each other 7 days ago. Okay. So from Chris's perspective, when he's like, it's fake may not be the right word for it, but it's like, you all have your own issues to deal with. In fact, Virginia even recognizes and says, we've been so busy concerned about them that we haven't had a chance to deal into her and Eric's issues. So he's like, basically, back up. Let us have this conversation, respect our privacy. And they keep picking and saying, well, we want to make sure you're stepping up. And so now in the context that her husband has stepped up and been like drunk and whatever, saying you need to man up. And now Virginia's coming. Clara, not so much. Clara kind of said her piece and then she backed off. But Virginia kept coming in and was like, well, you know, if this was me and if da-da-da and da-da-da. So Chris, at this point, in my opinion, is like, look, I've asked you all to stay out of my business because I'm trying to work through this with my wife.
Right. So we agree with the execution.
Right.
But again, as I stated, if we're in it together, if we want to say, even start with production, they know he's a bomb. Okay, guys, I want y'all to talk about this. Mm-hmm. Who knows if they were even the ones that wanted, they may not want to even approach Chris.
Yeah, because it was a little strange setup.
It was
those
staged.
Two speaking with him.
It was staged.
Right.
So again, you're making so that they create this own space for themselves because they're all in a situation.
Right.
So we would be saying, why are these women not standing up to this dude who is hurting this young lady we just met? That's natural. So I have all understanding of why that situation. I'm not agreeing with the way they did it. So we're saying the same thing, but you can't fault them for even trying, because if I saw someone being beaten or being verbally abused, I'm just not going to sit back and watch somebody do that. If I'm going to be, you're entangled. There
is a difference between verbally and physically abusing person.
I gave both examples. I said both verbal and physically.
Right. There's a difference between that. He's not verbally abusing Paige. He's not physically abusing Paige. Now, we could say that he's taking her through an emotional turmoil. Absolutely. Absolutely, right?
Right, but again, if she's not sharing exactly what she's going through, we just know she's hurting.
But maybe she doesn't want to share with them. Maybe she's being quiet because she's not sharing with them.
Or maybe because she's upset. They don't know. But again, they're put in that situation.
So then their responsibility is to go to Paige and say, hey, what's going on with you? And if Paige is like, I'm good, I'm dealing with it, then you know what? That ends it.
But we don't know. Again, they cut.
You're right.
We don't know. Cut. We don't know what Paige, because they tell Chris, but that's not what Paige is saying to us. So hold on.
But we've been in situations where folks will take an offense for someone else.
But they indicated she said something. So again, the way they executed it, I don't believe it's correct. Were they put up to do it? Probably so, because they don't know Chris, but they see he is very, he gets agitated quick. So if I'm looking at you and you get agitated quick, I know you ain't going to respond well to me. So they put him in that situation for that to occur.
Right.
So.
Okay.
But.
So, and then, on the bus ride back, he blows up a little more.
He doesn't. He makes a decision to make hell for them. Yes.
Because at that point, I empathize with him on this portion.
I don't empathize. He had a decision to make.
You feel the way you do.
Because he told him, he's like,
as a black man, when two women are coming at me saying ... and I'm trying to work through and handle something, I'm not saying that, again, let me make sure I make this clear to you all. I'm not saying that Chris is justified in all of his actions and what we're seeing from him. But I will say that I believe that the position that he was put in with those two women coming at him telling him ... Where were so whether it's production, whether it's them, whatever it might be, he felt backed into a corner.
Right.
And so if I feel back into a corner, yeah, I might be petty myself. I might be a little petty and make your ride a living hell as well, because you have put me into a corner where I feel I have to defend myself and I have to stand up because I'm trying to handle this situation that has nothing to do with you.
The response was not appropriate.
We can agree to disagree on that.
Well, you just said you agreed that the way he executed was incorrect.
I said I empathize with him. I feel it justified. I feel it's justified based upon everything that led up to that.
The way for him, yes. Is he justified to be upset? Mm-hmm. And he indicates that he had to apologize for his actions.
He did after he calmed down. But in the moment, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah. And I would have indicated you were wrong for doing it.
You probably would have.
Just like Paige told
And I might have apologized later on. I might not have.
This is not right.
But, a couple other... And so then, as you mentioned, as you kind of alluded to, they do go out to dinner, or they have a group dinner later on. And he does step up to the plate and was like, you know what? First, he apologizes to Paige. He's like, look, I've not done right by you.
Right.
So he makes some statements. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some question as to whether or not he's being completely honest, if he's being, wholly truthful, or if that was, put on, right?
Well, it's just kind of like he says what would be correct, mm-hmm. but he just doesn't follow through his actions. So in the moment, that might be his feeling, but he's like the wind, he blows in and mm-hmm. he blows out. Mm-hmm. So, and because he's not sharing every emotion or because you're not asking the right question, he's not giving up what he's thinking, then it's up to you to figure him out.
Right.
That's the perception he's given.
Right.
So again, he hasn't shown any consistency to me.
Yeah.
But he did apologize to her. He makes apology
to the group
that was there because every couple didn't go.
Right.
But then Eric and Virginia, which is consistently late.
Right.
To me, every time we have an event and I'm supposed to be there and you show up late, that's disrespectful for the whole group.
Right.
So if they had came at the beginning where he could share, then it wouldn't be awkward. Like, this is second time where Chris is sharing at the beginning. Because to me, why do I have to think about you? Like, I can't give an apology right now mm-hmm. because I'm waiting for this other couple, but you don't even know if the couple's going to show up
right.
and you don't want things lingering.
Right.
And then you show up late and I'm trying to explain and then you want to tell me what I'm going to do without your wife.
So Eric tries to put his big boy pants on and let's just be honest, Eric doesn't scare anybody.
It's just a hot mess.
Eric doesn't hold any weight, in my opinion, right? And so he comes in and tries to get froggy with Chris, and the rest of the group is like, whoa, he just was apologizing. Right. We were just starting to move forward. You don't even know
the temperature in the room.
And so he continues on, and Chris is like, oh, okay, go ahead and speak. And so when he tries to, again, express, Eric shuts him down and cuts him off, which I find extremely disrespectful. I find it privileged. I find it a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
And yes, I said the word privilege. So I find it all those things.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
And because, let's be honest, the two women having the conversation with him was a privileged conversation as well. Mm. All right. But they continue, Eric continues to essentially ignore the fact of what mood was being set before they walked in drunk again.
That's what I'm saying. They don't know the temperature of the room.
So then he walks in, Chris begins to respond. It's like, look, if you want to, let's go there.
Right.
And so Vince takes him away.
Yeah.
The Paige and Briana go away.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, they shouldn't have come in the way they came in.
Right.
So, we're starting to see that the couples themselves, there's going to be some fractures between the couples as a whole.
Makes sense.
And Jacob is just sitting there at the head of the table like, okay, I don't know. He's
like, what am I supposed to do with
right.
this?
So,
like, I'm trying to get to know my wife. I'm having my own issues.
Right.
And I don't really, to be honest, like you said, I don't care.
Right.
And I get his perspective.
And I think if all the couples approach, yes, we can be friends, we can hang out, we can walk each other through this process. But I got my own issues in my own relationship that I'm trying to build and figure out. I don't have time to put energy and effort into your relationship.
Right.
That's like us. We want to make sure our thing is tight first.
Right.
And I mean, there are couples that we knew when we first got married that were going through things as well.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Well, couples that when we first got married, the number of couples that we were connected with, and when we first got married or married around the same time as us, many of them no longer are in relationships together. But we didn't have time or effort to put energy into fixing their things while we were ignoring ours. I know it's a long way around the block. I get that.
We were never involved in whatever they were going through. We never had that relationship with them.
We had that. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But okay.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, listen, this is completely real, completely raw, completely off the top. All right. But yeah, so there's a lot of things going on with those couples. One other thing with Chris and with Paige was the issue of money came up, right?
Yeah.
So that's a whole other thing. That's probably a whole other video. But she's like, look.
Yeah, she's like, I know I don't make as much money as you, but she said, I just want a joint account to pay the bills.
Right.
That's all she was talking about. She didn't say, oh, we need to combine all our accounts together.
Right.
She just wanted an account together to pay the bills.
Right.
And he was like, I don't do joint accounts. I'm like, what?
Which, knowing what we know about Chris, and thank you to all of you Facebook and YouTube investigators who have shown pictures of the equipment from his Subway restaurant out on the curb and done all the research. I'm questioning at this stage how much money Chris does have.
Oh, he really may not have that much money.
So I may not want to put money into an account if I ain't got money to put into an account and go 50-50. But that's a whole other thing.
You know, she makes the comment, she said that's for another time.
Right. But they need to have that conversation.
Well, I personally wouldn't put anything together with him. I mean, right now, there's no consistency in what he's saying. You know, at the end, he does mention that he still loves his baby mama. And so, with that being said, I think they have more bigger issues than joining money. You know, so at least for the first 8 weeks, you know, I'm assuming they're getting a stipend for where they're living, or they're not paying for where they're living. And so I'm going to be going back to my place, it looked like.
Yeah, I'm just
going to keep him
because of everything. Now, from our standpoint, we believe fully, and you know, we're completely vested in this marriage, vested in the relationship. So we have joint accounts.
Yeah, we have a joint account.
We each have our own separate accounts, so we kind of have mad money.
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
My name is on your account because if I die, you want to have access to my money, you know, or our money, whatever. But I feel like there should be a joint account at least for your bills. Right.
And in this situation, I completely wholeheartedly agree that she probably needs to keep everything separate for these 8 weeks. And if she chooses to go on, best of luck. All right. So let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. Let us know what you found interesting.
Yes, because someone made a comment. I know you said that someone had indicated that only reason why Paige is there maybe because of the contract.
That's right. Yes.
Because of the $100,000 or something might be in their TV contracts.
There's a question whether or not, as part of them basically receiving payment or basically being part of the show, the contract says that they have to continue filming all the way through the process. And if they quit at any time, at least in previous seasons, it's been like $100,000 fine, which is why another couple that should have probably cut it quits early kept on. So that also might have something to do with why Paige is still holding out. We'll see. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But let us know. Again, we appreciate your comments, appreciate you subscribing, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.